Hi, I'm the Reverend Hope Christensen, and it is my honor and privilege to be serving as Ardmore's volunteer chaplain this summer. It's my understanding that this is the first time that Ardmore has had a chaplain, though I am aware that there have been churches and faith groups involved in the Ardmore community in various ways over the year, some even now to this day. But I do think that Ardmore having a chaplain or a priest available is somewhat unique to organizations like Ardmore, and so it's an exciting time. My coming to Ardmore feels very fortuitous to me because in some ways it's like my coming home to a community that I'm passionate and care very much about. Prior to my being ordained a priest in the Episcopal Church, I worked for over 12 years in disability services, first as a direct support professional in North Carolina, and then for about 7 years here in Maryland, where I worked in employment services. During this time, I became aware that people with disabilities are disproportionately missing from our churches and faith communities. The reasons for this are multifold. Much like in the workforce or in many other places in the community, there are fears and stigmas, and oftentimes just a general lack of understanding or experience with how to make these spaces accessible and welcoming to people with all different varying abilities. But I think that there are many churches in our community that are welcoming and inclusive places for those who desire to be connected to church or a faith community. And they should be able to do so and should receive whatever supports are needed to fully participate in religious life and spiritual activities of their choice. For those of you involved in faith communities, I invite you to think for a minute about your church home, as some of us call it. What are some things that make your house of worship or church home home? For some of us, it's a community and network of friends with shared beliefs. For some of us, it's an opportunity to be in our communities, serving and worshiping. Faith communities are oftentimes places we receive support and care in times of crisis or loss. They are the places we celebrate life's milestones, like weddings and new family members. And they are the place we come together to grieve and mourn and celebrate our loved ones when they die. Many people discover a sense of greater purpose and connectedness through participation in faith communities. And for some of us, our relationship to our churches helps shape the rhythms of our daily lives. So some of what I'm doing this summer is helping to encourage and support people supported by Ardmore who are interested in doing so to connect or reconnect with their faith communities, churches, or houses of worship. Another way I'm supporting Ardmore as a volunteer chaplain is being available to support individuals and families with end-of-life planning. I know from personal experience that it is really easy to put off writing things down like our final wishes or hopes for what our memorial, homegoing, or funeral service might look like. But I've also discovered such work, like writing these things down and having them available, can be tremendous, generous, and loving gifts that we give those who we love and those who love us. Lastly, I can't say enough about how grateful and privileged I feel to have been able to meet so many people so far in just these past few weeks in the Ardmore community. It's been an honor visiting people in their homes and hopefully soon in the community, and being able to provide pastoral care and support to residents and their support staff is been really meaningful for me, as I hope it has been for everyone who I've been meeting with. This time of pandemic has been a remarkably challenging time for just about everyone. And I think that Ardmore providing a chaplain to their community is a wise and thoughtful resource especially during this time of transition as the world starts to reopen and a lot of fears and uncertainty arise. So many of us are still grieving and have experienced individual and collective trauma during this time. So having a safe, confidential, listening ear is helpful in healing and moving forward, and is a meaningful act of self-care. And we know that only by taking care of ourselves is it possible to provide the sorts of care and love we provide for each other. Again, I'm just so grateful to be able to provide service to the Ardmore community. So the plan is for me to be around through early August, continuing to visit and meet with people, provide end-of-life planning and pastoral care and services as needed. I'm also committed to being available to Ardmore with my services whenever they may be needed in the future. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to meet with you, and I look forward to meeting more and more of you in the weeks to come. Thanks so much.